All right, back in the bus, back at it with another episode review of Power. This is Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 4, Episode 3. Let's start off with Lou. Right, Lou has been going through so much with his, obviously his attempt last season, and then obviously with his recovery and whatnot. Because of his situation and his specifically his label deal, B really ain't really got nowhere to stay.
All my money on the back end, you
Ain't
feel
got
me?
no money.
I signed a Super 360.
Right. And
Call it a 720.
and Labelhead is not trying to give him no more money. And it turns out this whole thing is over black people versus Jewish people. That whole discussion was crazy. I feel like it was almost at some points unnecessary.
Wasn't needed at all, and it came from a very slanted fucking perspective. And then also, no, this isn't the place for it. I just find it very, very interesting that type of dialogue can go on in a television show. But if we speak that way about, the Israel-Palestine situation, why people actually believe the Jews are involved in the banking industry and the founding of the Federal Reserve, and what we recently got out of the recently released JFK pages that were released, and that assassination. It's just like, they only want that conversation to go so far.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm white when you want me to be white. No, you're white.
Also, Lou finally admitted in front of Raq about his attempt situation, which, obviously that allowed for him to kind of confront Raq, because she kind of caused all that shit, to be honest with you. I can't think of anybody else who had a bigger part to play in what he ended up becoming.
Talking about Kanan?
No, Lou.
Oh, well, I mean, there's some decision making in that. And
I would say, obviously, his
also
famous sister.
Kind of a drifter as a father as well. And
Sure. But at the end of the day, I think Raq played one of the biggest roles in that becoming a thing.
Sure.
And so that, I was happy that he at least got to confront her in a way. Unique is still out here kind of doing things without any real explanation.
I don't understand what's the long game here? I know we're trying to cause chaos, and we're trying to shake some trees here, but like, what's the plan? What are we doing?
Yeah, my problem with this all is, and they keep mentioning it, is that being in the shadows was supposed to be a superpower.
An advantage, right? Yeah, now you loud as hell. Now people looking for you.
And you're also, according to the trailer, looking to finally come out from behind the shadows. You didn't do anything yet. You didn't establish anything for yourself.
You don't got no crew. You got some product now. You got a little bit of cash, but that's about it.
Yeah, but like, all of these moves that you made
early Tyler
didn't really equal out to what it should have done for you at the very least. Like, once you came out of the shadows, you should be established. I don't think that to be the case. I think once you step out of the shadows, you still have more you have to do. So what was the point of all this? You killed Raq's lawyer, you killed the restaurant owners. Meanwhile, Raq still has other restaurants.
Yeah, it's not like you gonna go back to Stefano and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm back." Unique. Listen, man, let me tell you, I've been working with Raquel, and you guys decide that out. And whoever wins, you come and talk to me, okay?
Yeah, I just don't understand all the way his moves. We could also talk about Marvin. Marvin obviously went through a few different things in this episode. He saw the little white girl, who obviously lost
Gerald's
her sister
daughter
and her dad. Yep. Yeah. So I'm glad he gave her a little bit of resources, obviously, and his number in case she ever needed him. Because I mean, life is gonna be tough for that girl.
For sure.
I thought it was funny that the teacher was like, "Are you okay?
Everything okay here, sweetie?"
Yes, we're fine.
Back up.
I'm her godfather. I haven't seen her in a while. Relax.
Back the hell up, lady.
If you were going to be all skeptical about the whole situation, why would you accept the Godfather thing?
Yeah, you could have just been direct. Who are you? Who are you?
That was crazy. I also thought, there was another instance where Marvin had to kind of continue to hide what he had going on from Raq. Obviously she asked him, like, the lawyer told me that, they saw you up at Tony Danza's. So, like, what's the deal?
Mm-hmm.
And he had to straight up lie to her and say, look, I wasn't up there. They lying to you. Which just leads me to believe that there's going to be something.
Oh, it's going to be some conflict.
And what I hope is that it's not something small. Like, eventually he just apologized for dealing with Tony Danza, and that's kind of the end of that. I hope this comes into a story arc. Like,
I actually do think that Stefano's trying to break Marvin off from Raq.
mm-hmm.
Like, that was the idea of having him do this work for him.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how that lines up with, so what'll probably end up happening, Raquel end up taking out Homeboy to become the heroin connect, and then instead of tapping her, he taps Marvin. Or he slowly only communicates with Marvin and starts, Marvin is his guy inside of her organization type of thing.
Yeah. To kind of keep control over the whole situation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's not bad, but I think Marvin's eventual desire for more is going to be, is going to need to be satiated at some level. So, I don't know. And plus, is this the last season?
People been talking about season 5.
I've been seeing that too. So, yeah, I don't know.
Good God. When are we going to put power to rest? Turn the power off.
Okay, Kanan has finally been persuaded from his girl that they need to move out from this situation and find an apartment, which you should have never been sleeping at the trap house to begin with, but okay.
Especially now the Unique rolled up on her over there.
You know?
You can say, excuse me. Girl, you need to have your eyes peeled. You don't know who that is?
You don't know where you are? It could have been anybody.
They're really playing up this whole, like, nobody recognizes Unique shit because...
They are.
How? This man was walking up and down the streets at all different times of day and night with nothing but a hoodie.
He has the same face, just with a scar.
Exactly the same. And if this was a thing that he was supposed to be disfigured or like a different, then you probably could have casted a different actor. Or made the visual effects so drastic that it makes sense to us that nobody's recognizing him.
Yeah.
This man is just freely moving in and out of spots.
He's the same person with a Harry Potter scar. Like, it's it's the same person though. But yeah, okay. So Kanan is trying to look for apartments, runs into a racist who thinks he can get off the fact that, this apartment's actually already spoken for. No, you saw us.
Yeah, this is already. What about the motherfucker that just walked out here? You ain't tell them that.
Right.
Oh, you bold as hell. You are bold as shit.
And so, of course, they had to find another landlord and decided to give him straight up cash because Kanan can be credit checked.
First of all, credit checking in 1980, whatever the hell this is nuts. Because credit scores really only became a thing in like 89.
Actually, I think this is the 90s.
Is this the 90s now? Are we in the 90s?
I think we're in the 90s.
Christ.
I think. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. Yep.
Oh, well, I retract my statement.
But, yeah, no, I thought that whole situation was crazy. And the fact that she had to think about giving him a little extra deposit, I was like, she had to be the one to think of that? Like, you didn't think, maybe I should give him a little extra to incentivize him? I don't know. That was a little weird. Like, is she going to be all the brains for Kanan at this point?
Probably.
Anyway, Juke decided to obviously leave the army. Why did she answer the door? Like, you had to know it was going to be like, I knew. I mean, of course she knew.
Her dad told her that they was on the way. Like, they was about to be pulling up.
Like, why did you answer the door?
I don't think she's scared. I don't think she's afraid. She wasn't running. Obviously, she was sitting there waiting on them to come.
Well, even crazier. She had a look on her face when she got to it, though, I thought.
I mean, so obviously when they threaten and they put kind of, putting their foot down about her coming back, they're trying to force her to come back. But, you can say what you want, and then I'm gonna say what I want, and then we're gonna see how it shakes out. Like, I didn't want to be there. And if you try to force me to come back, then I'm going to be like, oh, well, I'm gay. And then you're going to really try to kick me out. But then at that point, you're going to have to do that in front of some lawyers. So how you want to play this?
I mean, it was a smart move for sure.
Yeah, how you want to play this?
She definitely played that pretty well, all things considered. But
just let me go. And then for the dude, the soldier, to come down there and be like, you're giving up on your country? Motherfucker, do you see my skin? You out of your mind? Giving up on my country. That's rich.
That was funny.
And she gives the perfect response back. That's cool. My country has given up on me quite a few times.
Like, fam.
Me and mine's quite a few times.
Come on, fam.
What are you talking about? Giving up on your country. Fam, wrong race.
Right.
Wrong race for that one.
And then, so obviously she sees homeboy that she used to steal polo with and decides to hang out with them for all of 2 seconds.
Yeah, she got bored as hell and walked her ass right up out of there. They said, the only thing we want to do better is the stuff that you were already doing. Yeah. She said, "La fuck no," and got up out of there.
Yeah, and headed to a lesbian bar.
Now, what's interesting to me is that she didn't want to fuck with the boosters no more, but she could fuck with the B&E niggas. You know what I'm saying? She can go rock out with Ray Ray and them. That's crazy. You can't boost Tommy Hilfiger no more, but you can go steal jewelry on the Upper West Side. Yeah, that's nuts.
Why not? Fuck it. And then we got the end where Kanan's grandma decides to have a big dinner for everybody. And, you know, obviously she's being a little weird. Everybody's picking up on it. And, oh, let me drop it. Let me tell everybody what's going on. And Raq gets mad and says, you decide to tell us over pot roast. When else would she do this?
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of it was to try to draw the parallel between Raq and her mother and with Kanan and Raq. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, just kind of mad for all of the history and not necessarily mad because of what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. With Kanan, we can kind of feel it because he's actively going through his BS with his mom right now. With Raq, it's kind of harder for us to sympathize or even empathize with it because we didn't see it.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't experience it with her, so now she just comes off as a disrespectful kid. Mm-hmm. And, the only foresight that we have into that is that quick little line she drops about, so you knock us around, beat us all these years, and then blah, 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 yada. Now when you die, you want us to come back around. So it's like giving you a peer into some of the bad stuff that Raq had to deal with as a parent, mm-hmm. and then just end up internalizing and passing it on down to her kids. Yeah. So it was an interesting little parallel there between the conversation that Kanan and Raq have outside. Like, hold on, man. Like, you really crazy. Like, you think after everything you showed me, everything you've taught me, everything that I've been through, everything that you've done to me, that I was just gonna go off to school and be a normal college student? Like, that's what you believed? Like, you gotta be crazy. Yeah. And so similarly, that's how Raq is looking at her mom. Like, hold on, man. And you done did all of this. You done lived your life. All of that. Last time we seen them together, she had her hands out asking for money, and it wasn't very nice. Mm-hmm. Right? And so, like, you put me through all of that. You treat me this way, and now you expect me to be emotional about the fact that you're not gonna be here, and you trying to do it like your sweet grandma and all this other stuff. And when she was trying to give off to Kanan, like, hey, they're not gonna take this. It wasn't it was Raq.
Right.
Like, I think everybody else was just kind of in shock. Raq was the one that wasn't having it because I assume they probably have the longest history. So.
The longest history, she probably got the worst of it, mm-hmm. being that she's a girl and, it's their mom. But it's not like Lou didn't also, obviously not want anything to do with her at some points. And Marvin, I guess the jury's still out on Marvin, but because he was kind of acting still, even though he said what he said about her not dying for the rest of them, he was still kind of nice to her. But Lou, throughout this whole thing, has been disaffected by her, and then obviously Raq has been completely out on her. So. Yeah. So it's been multiple kids, but at that, she probably caught the worst of it for sure.
Yep, agreed.
All right. Any other scenes, characters that we got to discuss?
That's it for me, man. Give us your thoughts on episode 3. Episode 3 of season 4 of Raising Kanan. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Give us your thoughts. And come back next week for episode 4's review.
Absolutely. And make sure you check out our playlist full of power reviews from Power Book 2, Ghost, Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Power Book 4, Force. See what we talked about in previous seasons of Raising Kanan, obviously. And a lot of you are coming back and viewing some of our videos. So make sure you subscribe. We'll be covering the rest of the season. Peace.
Peace.